Hey guys, Django Fett here. So it's my favorite time of the year to ramble and rave about my favorite whatever for top 10, top 5 for 2023 at the end of the year of what I like. So I always keep a track of what I have for what I love and did not like, and I keep track of it for when it comes to TV shows, movies, and video games. So let's get into TV shows first, then we'll do movies, and then video games last. Save the best for last. So let's start off with TV shows. The TV shows that I liked and absolutely hated for 2023. Not in any particular list, but the TV shows that I really enjoyed. First one being The Last of Us. This came out of nowhere. I mean, it's directed by the creators of Last of Us, the video game projects, as well as, involving the Chernobyl creator behind that as well. And I didn't know what to think of this. I mean, the trailers look good, but I was kind of iffy about it. I wasn't sure about it. But it ended up being one of the best video game adaptations ever. And it was just so faithful to, the first game. And it was just awesome. I really loved this TV series. It did expand on a lot of the video game, and I had a really good time with it. I thought it was really gritty, and it replicated the video game perfectly. They didn't have to change so much that it made it just completely just a sham, like Halo, for instance. But they respected the material and gave love to it, and it came out earlier this year, and I loved it. The next is The Legend of Vox Machina Season 2. So this is a great animation series by those at Vox Machina, the Critical Role, and they did an incredible job with Season 2. I loved Season 1 so much, and I think Season 1 is still better than Season 2 for me in particular, but I love Season 2, and I cannot wait for Season 3. It was just awesome action and just great storytelling within the campaign, the actual role-playing campaign that they actually did for this like years ago, and they're just putting it on the big screen, even though it's like dozens if not hundreds of hours, or dozens of hours I would say, of that campaign, or hundreds of hours I should say, I'm sorry, into that season. They did a great job in replicating that. I don't know how the hell they did that, but they did it with Season 1 perfectly, and in Season 2 they did it just as well. They introduced a new enemy, which was dragons. You saw that towards the end of Season 1, and now you see it here, the absolute destruction they cause, and they have to stop them. I had an absolute blast with this once again, and it just sets up perfectly for Season 3, and who knows if they'll do Season 4 and so forth. But every beginning of the year now, I am going to always look forward to Legend of Vox Machina to see how, it replicates the amazing campaigns that they've done into here. And I always like watching these, and then I'm just kind of seeing how they do in the campaign, and it's just it blows me away how much creativity and thought they put into it. Next is Shadow and Bone Season 2. I've been waiting for this for quite some time. Season 1 was absolutely great. I thought it would be a pretty dumb teen drama thing, but when I actually watched it, that wasn't the case at all. And Season 2, just has this so much conflict going on, this war and stuff like that, and it was absolutely engaging. I don't know what they'll do for Season 3. It'll be interesting to see how they do that, but it ends on a bit of I would say high note. It ends on a high note, and it'll be interesting to see when they will come out. I've been waiting for this forever, but they did a fantastic job with this fantasy series, introducing like fantasy and steampunk. I loved it. I thought this was absolutely incredible, and the acting was great, as well as the cinematography, the visuals. It was just a fun watch overall. Next is Star Wars Visions Volume 2. So Visions Volume 1 was decent, but Visions Volume 2 was just absolutely incredible. Go watch my review of that. I love Visions Volume 2. So much creativity, and actually involving so many other countries, involved with the animation work. I love them all. Like most of the animation work that there was involved with the storytelling, and the animation involved. They did a phenomenal job with it. Some of them was not as great as the others, but overall, this is what I want for Visions from this point on. And I cannot wait to see what they do with Visions Volume 3. And this is what I want to see from Star Wars from this point on, but I won't see it for the modern setting. You know, the bigger Star Wars projects, which is never going to fucking happen. You have disappointments like another Star Wars project, which I'll touch base upon. But Visions Volume 2, this is the absolute thing for Star Wars that I'm actually excited about. I'm not excited for anything else but this, because everything else has just been dog shit. I think the video games is an exception for me, but when it comes to movies and TV shows, I could care less. But this is the only thing that I really like, because it involves so many talented creators, you know, putting their, you know, imagination and thoughts into a creative storytelling for Visions, and creating these awesome new stories for Star Wars that will be remembered for years to come, in my opinion. Next is another video game live-action series. I was actually really surprised about this one, but it's One Piece. So I thought this would be absolute dog shit. Didn't know what to expect from this because of Netflix, and then you have a video game project. I wasn't really sure. Only Last of Us could really do it because it had the, you know, the people behind it. But this was actually fucking incredible. It absolutely blew me away. You know, I was hearing great things about it, and then my brother showed it. I was like, I don't know about this. But then my brother showed it to me when I came over and, you know, saw this, like the first episode. I was like, wow, this is freaking incredible. And I think the budget for this was like almost the same as Game of Thrones, like one season of Game of Thrones or something like that. It was like one of the most expensive video game projects or something like that. I'll put something up here. That it just blows me away because it's like the visuals are incredible. I mean, I guess it really shows with that, the visuals alone, but it was that much that it dwarfs fucking Game of Thrones. That's insane to me. But, you know, I think this was a big success, and we'll see if they do season 2. I think they'll probably most likely do a season 2 of this, you know, involving not a Japanese crew, but an American crew. Is really interesting because usually it's the Japanese who do this. I know they did it recently, Yu Yu Hakusho, which I still need to watch, and unfortunately I didn't put it on my list, but that was a Japanese live-action series, and I heard great things about that. But usually for these live-action series, when it's done by the Japanese, it doesn't end up well, hence, you know, Full Metal Alchemist and others, which is dog shit. But they involved an American, you know, team behind it to create it and lead it, and they did a phenomenal job. They really respected the material from what I understand. I don't know anything about One Piece, but as a general audience and person like myself who doesn't know anything about One Piece, I had a great time. I had a blast with this, and I can't wait to see what they do with this series in the future. Next is Gen V. So Gen V is a spin-off series of The Boys, which has been really successful for Amazon. And Gen V I thought would be just really stupid, but they actually did a pretty good job with this. I mean, it's probably not better than, you know, it's probably better than the recent Boys seasons, like the recent seasons of The Boys, which isn't really saying too much. But, you know, maybe like season 1 and season 2 is probably better than Gen V, or maybe season 3. I don't know. I've kind of forgotten about The Boys ever since. But Gen V was actually a really cool take on, is it Gen X or Gen? I lose track of all these different generation names and stuff like that. But the younger generation in college and superhero college, and they find out some things, and you know, it's not as cool as they think it is, and there's a lot of shady shit behind it, and they have this mature setting, you know, with the boys involved. So I liked it. I really enjoyed this. This was a nice spin-off series. It kind of ends, just ends. So I hope they kind of connect with the boys in the future season, with season 4. I'm really interested with season 4. That should be fucking incredible. So we'll see with that one, how it connects with Gen V to that. And the last one, I think this is probably my favorite TV show. This wasn't in any particular order, but this was my favorite TV show of this year, and that's The Fall of the House of Usher. made by Mike Flanagan, who's done a great job with The Haunting of Hill House and other, TV series out there. This one for me is my favorite of his. Easily better than The Haunting of Hill House, which was my favorite. This is better than that because it basically takes the Edgar Allan stories, the Edgar Allan Poe stories, and puts it into this story of the House of Usher, these rich billionaires who are slowly but surely dying off, as you're finding out. And this guy is going crazy at the same time, and you discover things about his past and other things. And it's just a really great TV series overall. Very violent at times, and I don't even know how to describe it. It's like a thriller, drama, horror TV series, but it's a mix of everything and blends it very well. So another TV series that I completely forgot about, but I have to include this, is Scott Pilgrim Takes Off. So, if you love Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, that legendary movie with Michael Cera back in the day, years ago, well, you're going to love this one because it's an animated version and it's completely different from the original movie, but it takes the original cast, the whole original cast, thanks to Edgar Wright and his connections, and bringing back the old cast again to voice their original characters in this brand new series, animated series, which was so fucking awesome. So definitely check that out if you haven't already on Netflix. It's, oh my god, I freaking love this. I'm so glad that a sequel actually happened for Scott Pilgrim versus the World. This just came out of nowhere, and I absolutely loved it. So now let's get into the worst TV shows of 2023. So, on the bottom of the list, I would say is The Mandalorian Season 3. Yes, a Star Wars project. I didn't necessarily hate this, nor did I necessarily love or like this. Even though I gave it a favorable review, I did give an approval. It doesn't mean it doesn't have its problems, and it does. And it's not really on The Mandalorian. It's about Bo-Katan. It's really her TV show. Which is a shame because it's called The Mandalorian. It should be on Mando. But this show was everywhere. The season 3 was, I think it's just, it's lost me now at this point. And if you don't know what's going on in season 3 and you're watching this after season 2, you're going to be lost because you have to watch Book of Boba Fett, that dog shit show, to understand what's going on here. And that's a horrible way to connect it. I know they've done it with the Marvel show. I think with the Marvel shows too sometimes. I don't like. I hate that. I know they're doing it with the TV shows with the movies, which is still stupid at the end of the day. I don't like that. So you're gonna lose a lot of people just I'm trying to understand what the hell's going on. So Mandalorian season 3 was not a fail, but it's definitely the lowest point for the Mandalorian for me, and I'm not really interested in Mando at this point. This is just so fucking boring. And it's not really his show. It was Bo-Katan who hijacked it, which is a damn shame. Next is Castlevania Nocturne. So I liked the Castlevania TV series. I thought they were pretty good. Season 2 was my favorite, fighting against Dracula. I thought it was, absolutely fantastic. Nocturne was a spin-off of that. So taking place, I think, 100 years or 200 years after the events of Castlevania 3, Season 3 or whatever. I did not like this at the end of the day. The stuff that they did in here, the animation was okay, but only the ending really saves it towards the end. The very end, when they introduce a familiar character, at the very end is only when it gets okay. But everything else was just so boring. I did not like the characters, especially I think was it Trevor Bell? I don't even remember the main character's the name. He was just bad. He was terrible. I didn't like really any of the characters. But I thought they were really boring, flat, really uninteresting plot. The only thing that I liked was the very end, literally the very end, and that was it. So we'll see if they do a season 2 of this, but I don't think Adi Shankar was even involved with this, or the creators of the original show. So they bring a new team to be involved with this, and it really shows. They just don't have the same passion or energy involved with the original series to here. Next is Secret Invasion. Oh boy, Marvel has been just absolutely just failing so hard as of late. and Secret Invasion doesn't help. I don't think I watched any other. There was a couple of other Marvel TV shows, but this one is definitely there on my list. I just barely even forget the other Marvel TV shows that came out. That this one just ends up being on the worst list. This one here, it sets up for events to be happening for the Marvels and all this other shit, and it's just like another throwaway TV series. And Marvel is just really shitting the bed. This one shows. This one really shows. And I do have a couple of Marvel movies to put on my worst movies list. Let's just say that. So Marvel is just failing. I don't really care about them at this point. They just need to call it quits or just redo everything. Next is The Witcher Season 3. So the last hurrah for Henry Cavill, and that was the only reason to watch it. Everything else just, wow. They just changed up everything. They don't give a shit about the original material whatsoever. It seemed like they were doing it with Season 1, but now they don't care whatsoever. Season 2 was but you did see the many fucking problems with it. And then now Season 3, and it's just bottom of the barrel. This show is just oh my god, it was absolutely awful. And this is how they're gonna end with Henry Cavill. Oh my god. So the way they ended off with Henry Cavill was just absolute dog shit, and they just throw away Henry Cavill once again. It seems like everything he's involved, they just throw him away, and I just feel bad for the guy because he actually cares about what he's doing. He wanted to be involved as The Witcher and really cares about the material, and he's the best part of Season 3, easily. He's always the best part of every season. But they barely showed him in here. They just change up everything. They don't give a shit about anything of the original material, or when they're trying to create something new, it just ends up as a big fucking fail. Literally, the last episode, they're just repeating the same events over and over and over and over again. It was just like a waste of fucking time. And they split it off into 2 parts. Yeah, I remember. 2 parts. I had to watch the last 2 episodes a couple months after that, and it's just like, why do that? Just have it come out. And it was just a complete waste. Like, I was waiting for this dog shit. Just have it all come out together. It was just so stupid. But yeah, Witcher is just down the fucking toilet at this point. And Season 4, they're having a new lead at this point. And Henry Cavill's not going to be involved, but we'll see how he does with Warhammer. I think that he's going to do some great fucking things with Warhammer, for sure. And on the top of my list on the worst TV shows of 2023, this is easily number 1. And that's Willow. Yes, Willow, the TV series, I was excited for. I was really hyped for it. And it ended up being complete dog shit. It was so bad that I have to check on Disney Plus again, but they actually removed it from Disney Plus. It was that bad of a TV series that they just removed it altogether. A completed project that everybody watched, or people watched, and then just removed it altogether because it was just that fucking terrible. And they wanted to do another season after this. They just set up for another season. And it focuses not on fucking Willow, but these kid actors and people you don't give a rat's ass about. They portrayed Willow like a fucking, just the worst. And they didn't give a shit about the material whatsoever. I have no idea whose idea that was. But thankfully, this is the only good thing that Disney has done, is just remove it altogether. I just would have been glad if they just never done this in the first place. If they're going to put this effort, like this dog shit, out on the screen, just don't even fucking do it. But they did, and unfortunately, I had to waste time to watch this dog shit. And it's easily just, it disrespects the original Willow movie, which I hold near and dear to my heart, and just throws it away. Throws it down the fucking toilet. So that was my best and worst TV shows of 2023. There wasn't really too much out there that was just like, oh my god, it just absolutely blew me away. It did its job. 2023 for TV shows did its job. It was fine at the end of the day. It was nothing just mind-blowing, but it was fine. And don't forget to please like this video, comment down below, subscribe to my channel, Django Fett, if you haven't already, and I'll see you, my fellow Mando, brothers and sisters, next time.
Ooh, yeah.